Alright, what's up, guys? I got a lot to talk about today. A lot of things I can talk about. So much so that I don't think I'll cover everything. There's definitely probably still will be some times where I'm just like sitting here trying to think of what I'm going to say. But this time I for real have things to say at all times, I guess. Anyway, I went to my brother's wedding yesterday, and it was really good. It all went smoothly, went well. I love his in-laws. They're fantastic people. Super fun to hang out with and stuff. And I just kind of like had the opportunity to talk to a whole bunch of people that I knew growing up, and like a bunch of family and stuff that I don't normally see. But anyway, I had the opportunity to answer a lot of questions because everyone's like asking questions about like obviously my girlfriend status or whatever, but like also like fitness questions and stuff. And so I figured I'd decide to like talk about my own experience with working out and exercising and stuff. And now I don't think it'll be the last time I talk about it or portray it, but I just think that this will be a good way to kind of start kind of workshopping that. But yeah, basically I just like, my fitness journey started when I was probably like 9 or 10, maybe 11. When my dad was, well, I guess my parents were pretty motivated in their own fitness journeys, and they didn't want to see us struggle, like my siblings and I struggle with the same things that they were dealing with as adults. And so they kind of like motivated us to like run and do push-ups, push-ups and sit-ups and stuff. They didn't want me to like lift weights yet until I was 12, because there was a lot of things about like it being unsafe. And I know a lot of that is like, yeah, no, it actually is safe as long as they lift, you know, with perfect form, it'll be fine. But I just feel like, I don't know, the risk of injury is or risk of stunning your growth is still real. It's just, you have to be real careful. And it's like, honestly, I feel like it doesn't really matter, because at least for us guys, girls too, but for us guys, like, we get significantly more testosterone when we're going through puberty and stuff. And so I feel like kind of that preteen age is right when you want to start really working out, if you're like looking for the optimal like science behind it or whatever. But anyway, so I started just doing running, push-ups and sit-ups. I hated running. Still don't love running. At least like distance running. I do run every once in a while though, as far as like for cardio. And I love sprinting, but like I do run every once in a while. Ran like a 6-minute mile the other day. That was cool, I guess. I mean, it's not that good for a runner, but it's really good for people that don't work out. So I figure I'm definitely in between there when it comes to running, so I'll take it. But anyway, I just was like, I was always just a chubby kid, a little on the heavier side, never as big as I thought I was. I definitely felt like I was bigger than what the pictures show. And don't get me wrong, like I definitely had a round face too, but definitely not not as big as I felt like I was. But because of that, I was always like dreamed of like having a six-pack and like really wanted to just be jacked. It was kind of pretty much like always a dream. But I don't know. I like even my senior year of high school, I'd say, is like when I was like probably, that was the best shape of my life at that time, you know. I'd really like gone through puberty pretty much and had been lifting off and on for a couple years, and I honestly got to the point where it was like, yeah, I looked like I work out. I mean, I didn't have abs, but didn't have big belly either, you know. Then I went on a mission for my church for a couple years, and part of going on a church mission is that you don't really have access to like weights and stuff the way that you do in normal life, just because you're not really supposed to go to gyms and you're moving around all the time, so you don't like have a ton of weights with you. And that's really where I like started to, ironically, where I really started to get into working out and the whole like dieting side, just because I realized that I can no longer just like active my way into looking better, you know what I mean? Like during COVID and stuff, I can no longer just like be so active that I could eat like crap and still eat and still look okay, you know what I mean? Like it just didn't work like that anymore. So I had to be really disciplined with what I ate and really self-motivated to work out in the mornings and stuff, which I didn't like. Now I can work out any time of the day, it doesn't matter. But back then, I didn't feel good when I worked out in the morning. But I pretty much just motivated myself and had the motivation of like some of my friends. I like kind of talked about what I was going through with them, and they kind of like helped me be motivated in some ways too, help keep me accountable, which is super helpful. But yeah, pretty much long story short, I got up to like 220, and then last 6 months of my mission decided, hey, you know what, it's time to lock in. I lost like 50 pounds before I got back. Did not have very much muscle, because the most weight I was moving was like the 35-pound dumbbells I had. So my biceps looked all right, but 35 pounds isn't much for squats or bench press or whatever. So my chest was definitely lacking. But then I just I kept going from there. Like I was just kept working out like 3 times a week, like lifting like 3 times a week. I do push-pull legs, you know, just kind of like developing a foundation, I guess you could say. Then once I got the delayed onset muscle soreness down, meaning that like I was able to just recover a lot better, because there is kind of like that hump at the beginning. I started working out 6 days a week. That was June of 2022, I think, is when I started that gym membership, and ever since then I've gone 5 or 6 days a week. Every once in a while I'll take a week off, probably not often as I should, but I don't know, man, I just love it. I love the working out. But I feel like the main lesson that I've learned, I'll share that before I go hit a crazy back day today, is just that there's so many different ways that we can reinvent the wheel, and we can try and come up with some different solution or whatever. But none of like your dieting style or exercise style really matters that much. I hate to break it to you. What really matters is just being disciplined in what you eat. I mean, it's the answer none of us want to hear, but as soon as you start counting your calories and hold yourself accountable to what you want to eat, you will 100% start making progress towards your goals. That's just, I mean, that's been my experience at least, and that's what I see among others. It's like, I don't know. There are your anomalies out there. There are people that they're like, oh, I eat like 1,800 calories a day, or I eat like 1,200 calories a day, and I never lose weight. And it's like, okay, but do you count like that bite of each of those peanut butter sandwiches you made for your kids, you know? Because a tablespoon of peanut butter has 100 calories. Maybe more. Anyway. You know, it's just like all the little things. Are you really counting every calorie going into your body? Because if that math isn't working out, if you're typing in your calculator and you're being 100%, like, honestly, I always recommend when you're doing the calorie calculator, one of the things is like your activity level, trying to calculate your base metabolic rate. Honestly, slap that sucker at 0. Like, so just like if you're not making progress, slap that thing at no activity, sedentary lifestyle, or like just base metabolic rate. I just want to know, if I do nothing, this is what my body burns, and calculate your deficit off of that. And if you do that, you don't even have to change really anything else, and you'll already start losing weight. And now I wouldn't recommend doing that if like you are really good about like, oh, my watch says I burn 600 calories every single day and I don't miss it, like miss a cardio. Okay, sure, punch in the numbers, whatever, but just don't be surprised if you're not seeing as much progress as the guy who's making sure he's in a 600 calorie deficit, or making sure they're in a 400 calorie deficit, whatever your range is, you know. Because at the end of the day, I mean, our bodies are just they're so efficient. They're so good at like trying to find that homeostasis, that any bit of leeway, any bit of like, you know what, I'm not going to count this handful of chocolate chips or whatever. Well, you know, just don't be surprised whenever you're not making progress. Because seriously, if your goal is to destroy your progress, or your goal is to like hinder your progress rather, just don't take accountability. And I feel like that doesn't just apply to bodybuilding, it applies to everything. Anyways, peace out.